So we're here today and we're talking about music distribution, what TuneCore does. Jhumpa was very kind to invite me over because she said that it would add value to your lives as musicians. So thanks for the very warm introduction, Jhumpa. I really appreciate it. I feel tired when you list out everything that you did or what I've done, but it's really great to be here. So thank you.
So like Hina, as like we are seeing that like digitalization has changed, like has brought in a great like amount of change, or like all across the industry. We and the music industry is also no exception. Like I'm a marketer, and I'm seeing such drastic change in the way marketing is happening in the digital world. But what is so like there is so much of information, so much of things happening, such changes, the technology and the tools, sometimes it becomes too overwhelming for the person who is in the industry to kind of understand what is for me, like which like kind of what things I need to learn, or what all things I should focus on. Hence the objective of like today's session and all other sessions like under our knowledge series going forward will be to explain this technology, the tools, and the other things which are there in a layman's language. Because I will also ask you the questions like, like completely from a layman's perspective, because I am representing my like our members today, and whatever doubt they have, I will be questioning, like bringing those to you as questions, and you help us to understand how it works and how a creator like can benefit from all of these. Okay, so like TuneCore has been dedicated to providing, like as we know, has been providing independent musicians the tools they need to get their music out to the world, grow their fan base, stay in control of their careers. Today we like have you with us and would like to know from you how the digital distribution works and the role TuneCore plays in the life of the creator and the artist. So starting with my first question, Hina, so like when you think of music distribution, what do you think are some of the most important things an artist must consider?
It's a really good question because it really simplifies what we are trying to do here. I like that. I like the fact that you asked the simplest question, you know, what is music distribution? So let's break it down.
Hina,
At
just
its
one thing,
crux.
just one moment. Can you just be a bit louder, because I think that the audio
Oh,
is
am I
a
not?
bit low. Yeah,
I'm sorry. Okay, so let me just put my mic volume up slightly.
yeah.
Sorry about that. Uh,
To the audience, I would like to say, in case you are not being able to hear or any issue in hearing or understanding, just you can raise your hand, and we will take your, if there's any issue, you can just like also type in the chat box. We are like monitoring the chat box also. Yeah.
okay, am
Yeah.
I audible now? Am I better
Yeah.
now?
Yeah. Yeah. Much better. Yeah.
Better? Okay,
Yeah.
sorry about that. Okay, okay, so let's go back to what music distribution is and what it is that an artist can think of when they're considering music distribution. So, at its crux, music distribution is simply getting the music from you, which means on your laptop, on your computer, in your studio, out into the world. So essentially, it's the thing of making sure that your music is now taken from you and put out into the world and is available on different platforms like JioSaavn, Ghana, Apple, Spotify, etc. Um, and that's what it is at its crux. As simple as that. That is all music distribution is about, right? So if anyone uses this term for you, you now know what that means. When you're considering music distribution, to me, there are two things that are most important. One is the network of stores. What does that mean? How many stores is that distributor able to get your music out to, right? You want to make sure that they have the maximum number of stores available where your music will then be available, right? So that's one. Two, and what are you getting back? That's number two. What are you getting back from putting your music out? So let's go back to number one, right? When we say network stores, because of the way uh, you know platforms work and the way distributors work, most of us distribute to most stores across the world. The only advantage that TuneCore has is that we're one of the only DIY distributors, that is, your do-it-yourself distributors that also have the added benefit of distributing to all four of the Indian major platforms, which is Ghana, JioSaavn, Wink, and Hungama. So as an Indian artist, this is a huge advantage, right? So that's number one. Two, it's about your money. What are you getting back? You want to get back your money, right? And it should be that. Why? Because it's hard earned. You've put money, you've put effort, you've put time into your music, into your releases. You want to make sure you earn from it. So when you come to a platform like TuneCore, what happens is that you're sure to get 100% of your revenue back, which means what? If your music generates X amount of money at Spotify and so on and so forth, whatever money comes back to us from Spotify comes back to you. We don't keep anything. There is no 8%, 15% cut, nothing. It's a full 100% that comes back to you, right? So these, for me, are the most important two things that you should consider when you're looking for a music distributor: the network and the money that you get back. So that's it in a box. I hope that helps answer the question.
Yes, yes, yeah, you have wonderfully explained this, the entire concept. Because when we think of distribution, because film distribution is such a big thing, so when we think of like music distribution, we try to like tend to get nervous and think that what like how it happens or how I can like as an individual distribute my music. But I think you have explained it like very well and make it and made it sound quite simple. So now I would like to ask, like, no, like, what are the mistakes musicians tend to make and the things they are doing correctly when it comes to distributing their music? Are there any obvious mistakes they tend to make? And if they are doing things correctly, what are those?
So, so I've always maintained that to me, artists are the bravest people there are. Why? Because first of all, they are creating music day by day, and then they're putting it out into the world. And the rest of us as listeners are, it's available to us to basically absorb, criticize, love. So it's a roller coaster ride. So it's a very brave thing that they do. Another thing that I have to say is that artists are by and large a very intelligent group of people. They're astute, they're smart, they understand things. And even if mistakes are made, they are more learning mistakes. You know what I'm saying? So if it's only like, even if they do make a mistake, it's only a matter of time before they figure out how to course correct. So all I can say is that the most successful artists are the ones who basically are open to new avenues, and they're able to use what is out there available to them, the tools that are available to them, um, and they use those tools essentially to make sure that they are using them in the best way possible to then push their releases out and make them successful. And another thing I've realized is that artists, everyone wants success, but it's important for you to recognize what it is that it means to be a success. For instance, if you're an artist and you says, I want to be successful, what does that actually mean? If I ask you tomorrow, okay, you know, आपके हिसाब से what is success? You may not be able to answer that question because you haven't thought it through. But it could be something as simple as number of IG followers or Facebook followers, number of streams on a particular channel. It could be, number of users who basically use your music to create content on a Facebook. It could be so many different things. So all I'm saying is, as an artist, fix in your head what it is to be a success to you. Fix that goal in your head and move towards that. When you achieve that, you can set another goal. But at least this way you know what you're headed towards. So that to me is basically how I see artists moving forward, and my little bit of advice on what it is that you can do to streamline your successes. By you're muted.
I'm so sorry. Okay,
All
sorry,
right.
sorry. This is the thing which happens on a Zoom call. Okay, so suppose now as an artist or a creator, I want to
Hmm.
kind of release my song. So like
Hmm.
as an artist, then how should I plan my releases? Like what should be
Very
the
good
grammar
question.
and the best practices of that?
Yeah. And before we get into the best practices, let me do one thing and just run you through a checklist. Okay, because I have a checklist. I love checklists. All artists should have checklists. Anyone who does anything with a certain goal in mind should have a checklist, simply because it makes things easier for you. You check it off as you go along and you know you've completed everything. Um, okay, so to go back a little bit, to me, let me just first say that it is extremely important that as an independent artist, and when I say independent artist, I mean as an artist who is completely in charge of their music and putting it out and creating it and everything, you have to, at some point of time, once you finish creating the music, um, turn into an entrepreneur. What does that mean? You need to start thinking as a person, like as a business person. You need to start thinking of your music as a product, and you need to say, okay, so this is my product. How am I going to put it out into the world and get it out to the maximum number of people and do that successfully, right? This is essentially a checklist to show you how you can do that, all right? So first, find a distributor. You decide who you want to go with. It's all good. Basically, take everyone who's out in the market, who's available to you, line them up, see what makes most sense for you. If you do come to TuneCore, which would be very happy to have you, then look out for a mail that Rupa is going to be sending you. This is like a little tip. But Rupa is going to be sending you a mail that offers a special discount for members of IPRS. So that will be coming to you. We'll be very happy to have you and we will take good care of you. So that's that. So you first find yourself a distributor. The second thing that's really important to do is create what we call in the business an EPK, which is really an electronic press kit. What is that? It's a fancy way of saying get your bio, your photos, any press quotes you might have, links to your music, links to your social media profile, your career highlights, anything that you think that you would introduce yourself if you had a chance to do it in person. You create it into a little email and basically put everything in there, and you have that ready. And who's that for? That's essentially for any industry insider. It could be collaborators that you want to work with. It could be artists, it could be producers that you're pitching to. It could be OTT platforms. It could be, the music streaming platforms that you want to send your things to, or even potential management, right? So your EPK is really important for you to have that. The third thing is your social media profile. Make sure that you have your social media in order. I won't go into detail about that. Most of you know how to handle your social media, or you have a fair idea of it, but it's an important thing to do. Keep yourself consistent on social media. Make sure you're available across platforms, and post things about yourself and let people into your lives, because that's where you basically create your core fan base. Now, none of us can go out into the world and perform and do anything the way our lives are right now. So, this is basically your new life. This is essentially where people get to meet you, see you, find out who you are, and become like a personal fan of yours, almost. So, social media is really important. Then moving on from that, there's the streaming platforms. They offer you like a lot of different tools to do things. Like Facebook has the independent artist program that you can avail through TuneCore, or Spotify has Spotify for Artists. YouTube has the official channels. Apple has Apple for Artists. Use these profiles, like create your profile through those. That's very important, because then what happens is when your music is available on these platforms, it comes back to you. It's basically mapped back to you as an artist, which means that your fan base can go through that as well, right? So there's that. Then, of course, there's old school medium of press, which is the most important thing. And it doesn't have to be press like, the mainstream press. It could be blogs, it could be music blogs, it could be uh, trade magazines, it could be anything. But reach out to people who write for music and do things like that. So um, you're basically opening up that one more channel where more people will know about you. In fact, you all should have a look at this whenever you get a moment. If you go to tunecore.in, there's a tab called Artist Advice. Under that, there's an entire article written by Amit Gurupakshani, who's done an entire checklist again of how you can pitch to press and who you should definitely approach. A lot of people have found that useful. I strongly suggest you to have a look at that. And lastly, if there's the last thing that I would say, it's that lean into your network. And what do I mean by that? Essentially, think of how many people are on your phone book. On your phone, like when you're listening through, there are so many contacts that you have. Convert all of those people into your network. It could be neighbors, it could be aunts, it could be grannies, it could be kids, it could be neighbors, it could be anybody. These people become your network. Why? Because they know you. You already have that advantage. All of these people you need to convert into your fans. So make sure that you're pinging them on social, or you're sending them a WhatsApp saying, hey, my new song is out, have a listen, and listen to it on Spotify or Ghana or whatever it might be. So lean into your network. It's a very easy way to create a fan base. It's a ready-made thing sitting over there and none of us consider it. Yeah. So that's basically my short list on how you should release and what you should be doing for it. It's exhaustive. Um, the recording is there, so if you need to go over it again, please do that. But try to see how many of these you can do. So at least give yourself a good chance to release your album successfully. I hope that answered that. You're muted again.
So like it's quite a bit of work for the artist. Yeah, because normally we know artists are people who like want to be in their studios, their kind of study tables, writing, or in their kind of confined
Yeah.
areas. But yeah, but the world has changed, and the other reason, like platforms like TuneCore and like people like Heena are there to help you out and show you the way on how to get out and like reach out to the world. So now
Hmm.
like having understood like how to release my works, so now,
Hmm.
I'm like more curious, and I would like to know that, like, how do I then get my music onto? Like you mentioned about Spotify, you mentioned about the different platforms. So what's the like? So then, like, how do I get my music up there? And as an artist, suppose like I'm ready with my song for release. Now, from here onwards, what does the whole process of distribution entail? So if you can just handhold us and take us through step by step on from my like
Absolutely.
song is ready, how do I see it on Spotify and what is that entire journey?
Okay. So what we touched upon in the last question was basically how to set up a release. If you remember what I said, the first thing I said was basically distribute your music. Now I'm going to basically break down because Rumpaz asked me how to actually do that release, right? This fortunately is the simplest thing for you to do, all right? Because we've made it simple. So the goal is to get your music onto Ghana, Spotify, JioSaavn, Facebook, Apple Music, YouTube, and every other store, right? 150 plus stores across the world, the four most important in India. Abhi karna kya hai? All you need, first of all, is a digital distributor. If you're coming to TuneCore, we'll be very happy. What do you need to do? Simple. Go to TuneCore India's site, which is tunecore.me. All right. You go there, you sign up on the platform. You sign up on the platform, that's a free sign up. You essentially sign up, which means that you've become part of the TuneCore family. Right. Then, whenever you are ready to distribute, it doesn't have to be immediately. Whenever you're ready to distribute, you simply click on the button that says distribute your music. You click that button and then you go through a four-step process, right? What is the first steps? First, you choose single or an album. You know what that is. Either you're uploading a single or you're uploading an album. Once you've done that, it takes you to the next form. The next form is where you put in all your metadata. You'll hear this term a lot. What is metadata? The metadata is essentially all the information about the contributors, who owns the rights, everything, everyone, featured artists, everybody, people who've written it. You can elaborate as much as you want onto that page. There are multiple options for you to add anyone you need to add on it. Just know that once you add it, it is for life. Your metadata is for life. So you make sure that your correct spellings, everything is perfect the way you want it to be. Take your time with it, go through it. That's the simple form. At that as well, then you have to basically choose your release date. Now, choose your release date also aram se. Figure out not that kal is my birthday, so tomorrow I want to release. No, think about it a little more. मुझे क्या करना है अभी? I have to do all of this work. I have to, reach out to X number of people, do my social media. ये वो. So if I release tomorrow, so it doesn't make any sense because it's not even going to get ingested into the source. So give it some time. Ideally, you should give it about 2 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks you should give it. So if today you upload, your release date can be any time between the say the 14th and the 28th. So that is a good time to do that. Then you move on to you finish that. You move on to uploading your artwork, which in an ideal situation should be ready for you to upload, and then you release your track, your actual track or your album. Right? You've done that. You select the stores. You can just check one box and select all the stores, or else you can pick and choose which ones you want. I would say go with everybody unless there is some reason that you don't want to. And then essentially you go to cart, you finish, you pay, and you are done. You are done. That is the process of distribution at TuneCore. It is as simple as that. It is broken down in a way to make it extremely user friendly. The way I see it is if you can sign on to Facebook, you can distribute a song through TuneCore. It's as simple as that. We've made it like that, right? Um, 2 days after you have uploaded your album, you will get a notification from TuneCore to say that your album is sent. What sent means is it's approved, it's ready, and it's on its way to stores. Otherwise, if there are some problems, it could be with artwork, it could be with audio files, it could be anything. It could be the way you name something. If there's anything wrong with that, the TuneCore team will come back to you one on one and basically mail you and say, like, just change this or correct this or make this the way this is supposed to be, and or read this article. This is the way you're supposed to do it. These are the formats, whatever. You make that correction and you go ahead and you just refinalize it and you're done. And then you sit back and you're set to go. So that is the really simple process of distributing through TuneCore. Was that good enough to demystify everything? Is everyone kind of clear on
I
how
think
it needs to be done?
it's quite simple the way you explained, and it's like going into a kind of an e-commerce platform where you kind of do your things, put in the cart, and yeah, you do your own stuff on the
Simple.
platform. So now tell
And
me, huh,
now, Rumpa, sorry, now we become all experts, no, because we're all shopping so much online. See, abhi to, it's nothing now. We all know how to shop and spend money online. So this is actually a good thing. So it worked out.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Last 1 year, we have been become like all kind of like online savvy because if you want to, you're going into Zomato, you're going into Swiggy, and everything. Your life is now online. So why stop your music from traveling online?
Such
So
a good point.
okay,
Such a good point.
so now you tell me that like, is it better to release just singles or an EP or a full album? Which one works better, or what should be the right approach?
So I don't have much of an opinion on that. I believe that an artist should put out whatever they want to put out. I really believe that it's important for an artist to express themselves. If you have an album, like if you're a classical musician, you're not going to release a single. If you have a folk album, how can I tell you that a single is better? So there's no such thing in the world. What we do tell people is that if you have not if you don't have things ready, then don't plan for an album 2 years into the future and say तभी करेंगे, अभी 2 साल के लिए album बनाएंगे, and then we'll see how to do it. And never mind that. Create the one single. It's faster, it's cheaper. Just get that one single ready and put it out there. What that does is it gives you a first step. It's almost um like a starting point, so you also gain confidence कि मैंने कैसे किया था, what have I done before, what have I learned from this entire thing. Let it become like a little starting point is all I'm saying. Otherwise, if you have an album, if you have an EP, if you have a single, I think if you have it ready, there is no such thing that a single works, album doesn't. I don't believe that. It also depends completely on your genre, on your language. So this I don't have much of an opinion on. I think an artist should basically put out what they are ready to and what they are happy to put out and just go for it. All I'm saying is don't sit on it for too long. I'm saying if you've got something ready, as musicians, I know y'all. I've worked with y'all for a really long time. Y'all are never satisfied. Y'all always think that there is a little bit more improvement, there is a little bit more thing. At some point, you need to say, hey, this is ready. I'm proud of this and I want to put out in the world. So just go ahead and go for it. That's all I have to say.
Well, this is very well said because few days back I was like having a session on like how to like get your content out on your social media, like how to write blogs. So there
Mm.
also the same thing was discussed that don't hold because when you're writing a blog also you always think I can improve that, and what happens you don't end up only putting it up. So it's the same logic they also put that just go out and post it. Like you'll always get opportunities to improve it and better it. Yeah, it's a
Absolutely. And it's doing no one any good sitting on your hard disk. Bhai, please put it out into the world. Let us have a listen also. It's like that. So you're very right. Give it
wonderful.
a time thing and go for it. So,
So now that I have gone into the TuneCore platform, I have uploaded my work. So then your wait starts that when will I see my song on Spotify? When will I see my song on Ghana? So what's that kind of gestation period or
I think I touched upon it. It's ideally between 2 and 3 weeks. The thing is that, see, so TuneCore has preferred partner status with a lot of the DSPs, with quite a few of the DSPs. So your music does reach stores faster. But why take that risk? What you should do is upload it 2 or 3 weeks in advance, get everything ready to go, and then um, essentially give yourself that time. So, that entire checklist that I've made for you about how to release, all that should be happening between the time that you have uploaded your album, chosen the release date, and the release date. So that's when you do everything else. Your social media starts, you do your teasers, you do your press, you do all of that in that period of time. But in an ideal world, 2 to 3 weeks, to answer the question really simply, is what you should give us. If you can't do that and it's a shorter period of time, we will manage. But the point is that you want to give yourself that much time at least.
Right. Uh,
Yeah.
so having like heard so much from you about the kind of nuances of distribution, there is already a
Hmm.
question in the chat box that why TuneCore? Why should I go with TuneCore? And if you can kind of uh, tell us,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you. There are many reasons. There are many reasons why I TuneCore, and not because we started off as the best, or we are, like we think that whatever. The thing is that the difference between us and everybody else is that we are constantly listening to artists. So if today we hear that an artist needs something, we make sure that it's a very short period of time before we are able to give it back to the artist and say, "Hey, you wanted this, Abhi, this is for you. Like, go for it now. We've given you what you need." So to break it down, let's just see. Let's start from the beginning. So with TuneCore, first of all, an artist gets 100% of their sales revenue, right? So whatever you make, you keep. We don't take a cut out of that. So that's one thing that's important. Two, like I mentioned before, we do like really fast delivery to the stores. So and also that we have the 4 major stores, major Indian stores on our platform, which is Ghana, Vinci, Savan, and Hangama. So there's that. Then the independence part. As an artist on TuneCore, you get what we call the state of the art dashboard. What does that mean? As an artist, you have complete visibility of sales kahan hua, kitne streams hue, who's downloading, where are they situated. All of that information is essentially available on your dashboard. Okay, so that is gives you clean, clear visibility, right? So that's three. Four, we do monetization services with Facebook and YouTube, which gives you an added benefit of revenue. So that's something that you should explore. If you do not know what I'm talking about, take 5 minutes, just go onto the website. Monetization for YouTube essentially means that if your track goes onto YouTube and someone else has uploaded it and stuff, you stand to make money if that person is making money off of it. Yeah, that's a really simple explanation. There's a better explanation on the website. Have a look at that. Um, then, of course, we've got really great customer care, which I know a lot of us need. A lot of us need that little bit of hand holding. Like, if customer service today has become a thing where it is as good as the company wants to make it, and we really try to make it hard. First of all of our people are real people. There are no bots. So we answer your questions really. And another thing that's really great for us in India is that if you have a question and you want to send it to them in your native language or in any Indian language, you can type it in your language and they will answer you back in your language. So that I think is a really good thing for artists who, want to express themselves or ask a question in their own language. So that's basically that. Then another thing, and then this is where Roomba, IPRS, and us have a great synergy, is that we are all about education and information. So we've got like a massive blog on our website, and it's right under artist advice, where there is so much information. There is just so much information on how to succeed, what you can do, what is realistic, like what kind of audio should I be uploading. All that kind of information is there for you to have a look at. So it's there to give you that added benefit. So there's that. Then we have what we call the rewards program on our website, which means what? These are master classes that are free of charge. Master classes normally cost a lot of money. If you're a TuneCore artist and you hit a certain amount of like distributions and so on and so forth, we open up these classes for you that you can take them. And again, there's more education there. So that really works. So that's the TuneCore rewards program. And then the other important thing is that TuneCore is part of the Believe music family. So we're part of Believe, which means that we have the added advantage of upstreaming artists. What does that mean? So TuneCore, if you look at TuneCore, it's a startup company. starting point, believe is basically the step up from that. So we can upstream artists to that, and you can get some sort of a deal with them if you hit a certain threshold, which we kind of push artists to do as well. So that works out really well. And if all that's not enough, it's how cheap we are. Basically, now in your first year, you pay 499 rupees for a single and 14.99 for an album. I don't remember the last time I ordered something from Swiggy and my order was less than that. So it's also a really great price point, and we've done it so that it's affordable for artists all over. Yeah. And then the last thing I think I would say is that there's also the fact that always listening. We're constantly evolving. We're listening to what artists saying, and we're making sure that we make things available to you as they're happening. So that's pretty much why I would do. I would suggest that you come to TuneCore, and we'd just be very happy to have you. So.
Great, great. So now coming to the bumper question, is that then how do I how can I make money? Because everything boils down to that kind of that like gold and silver things. So like now I've learned like how the platform works or like what I should do as an artist. So now my next like my the biggest question is like how do I make money out of my music through my through the distribution?
Yeah. And everyone should ask that question. It's your career. We all work for this, right? We are here to we have to make money. How do we sustain ourselves, and how do we then move forward to do more stuff if we don't, right? So it's a series of things. I think with artists, what happened today is that you have to do many things to make sure that you're making money, and you have to make sure that you are uh, just optimizing on all of those things. You're reaching out to all of them. So first, like I said, let's just say distribution. You make sure you distribute your music so that you're getting money from all the music platforms. You're getting money from streams, you're getting money from downloads, and all that is coming back to you. So that's number one. Okay, so distribute your music, that is the most important. Then, and this is really a shout out to the IPRS, I think it's very important to sign up with your local PRO, IPRS in our case, because there is money to be made. Sign up. Make sure that you are not leaving any money on the table. Okay, there is that. Then sign up for things like YouTube and Facebook monetization. Because if your song is being used by somebody, you can make money off of that as well, as long as it's getting monetized. So that's really good, right? Then of course there's live gigs, there's any sort of like festivals and so on and so forth. Of course, now that is not an option, but this is the checklist for a rosier future, a happier future where we will be able to go out and do live shows and stuff. There's money to be made there as well. Then, of course, there's something like brand affiliation. After you've reached a certain point in your career, there will be brands that come to you and say, whatever. If they don't come to you, you go to them saying that I can make a piece of music for you, or I could do a series of ads for you. So there's brand association. You just need to find someone that has the same mentality that you have, the same ethos that you have, and basically, work with them. So that's that. Another thing is think deals. With the rise of the OTT platforms, we all see how much great content is out there. If you're listening while you're watching, you're hearing great music playing. Someone is making money because their music is put onto those shows and so on and so forth. That could be you. You just need to figure out how you can then approach someone to do a sync deal for you. So that's important as well. So those are basically the ways you make money. As a person who's starting out, if you don't do anything else, but you basically make sure that the money that you have, the music that you have is making you money through distribution and through joining up with your local PRO, which is IPRS in our case, that itself is a big step up for you, right? So this is a starting point. So let's just do those two things if you don't do anything else. Right? So that's
Okay, we will come to questions from all of you. So I just had one last thing to ask Heena, is that in this age of artificial intelligence, we hear a lot about playlists. So if you go to Spotify and all these places, playlists are very popular, and for every occasion, every artist, in different themes, you have playlists. So how is this, like how much important is this like playlisting? And how does it work for an artist? Like how does it actually work?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So, of course, it is important. Playlisting is very important. It's basically where listeners discover music for the first time. A lot of discovery happens through playlists. I like an artist. I'm listening to the artist. If I put them on, like, and the playlist basically shows up different artists who sound like them. So I'm now a new fan of a new artist. So playlisting is important. Is it the only thing you can do? No. Is it the most important thing? Yes, no, both. It depends on what your priority is. The thing is, should you try to get playlisted? Of course you should. You most definitely should. And there is no one stop, 100%, it'll happen sort of a thing that happens with playlisting. But there are things that you definitely can do to make it, give it a better chance, give your music a better chance. It could be as simple as getting your music on streaming platforms. So first you distribute to make sure your music is available so that it can be listed. So that's that. Then the second thing is create your artist profile. Make sure you get it verified, right? So that's simple too. Then there's a question of building your audience. You've created your profile, you've created your artist profile. Then you want to start building an audience. So essentially, if you're on social media, you should tell your fans over there, okay, bhai, go back to Spotify and follow me there. So you're creating that fan base in the platform itself. It's native to the platform, right? So that's important. And then you use tools like, you make sure that you submit your unreleased tracks to like Spotify playlist directly. There's a submit tool on Spotify for artists. Use that. Yeah. And then there's also knowing which playlist you want to be on, because everyone knows the big famous playlist, but there are so many other genre specific playlists that you might not know of, and you should. So find out what those are, and then when you're pitching, make sure that you're telling them, okay, I think I make sense to be on this particular playlist. So they also have an idea. Okay, yeah, this does make sense for that. So you're helping them do that. Yeah. So it's really that. And then um, so none of this is like 100%, but what is 100% is make sure that you basically use like the tools that are available, like the submit tool that Spotify has. That is an important thing to do. Yeah. So, and there's a lot more information on the DSP site itself, on the Spotify for Art side, on the Apple for Art side. Have a look at that. There's lots of information there as well.
Wonderful.